People don't believe me when I say that this is the most significant part of the equation. So the phenomenon known as luck, sparking many, many debates over the ages. Some believe in it, some, don't. Some believe that, things just happen and there's no serendipity or synchronicity in the world whatsoever. But if you are sensitive towards how the emotional element of the human experience plays into frequency and vibration, then you can start to quantify or increase the likelihood in which you will experience hopefully not lust. The degree to which you can experience luck becomes more prevalent on your journey. So I am referencing somebody's particular post here on the SR subreddit. So through my journey so far, I have come to understand that this phenomenon of luck can be actually explained in practical terms, as I prefaced there. It is not some magical phenomenon that is bestowed upon one by the mystical lady of luck. It's actually something that each person can heavily influence. And what's really interesting is that he lists about 10, 11, 12 different practices other than SR that can actually quantifiably increase the likelihood in which you experience luck on your particular road. And I'll probably add some more of my own. Now, I did preface this, it is all emotional. I believe that the degree to which you experience synchronicity and serendipity on SR, you meet somebody like I bumped into somebody I was previously talking about. I was thinking about they were getting a tattoo yesterday, and I was walking down the street and I was thinking. I looked at a tattoo shop and I was like, I know they're getting a tattoo today. I'm also interested in maybe adding or having a look at the portfolio of some of the artists. I walked past this tattoo shop and no word of a lie, she sat there on the couch waiting to be tattooed. And I walked past, took some step back. And again, it's just weird kind of freaky stuff how the degree to which you manifest things, the degree to which you experience luck in your life happens. There's almost no lag time between when you think about it and when it actually comes into fruition in life, and it's pretty crazy. And it's all because of the emotional state of the individual, which has an influence on frequency and vibration. So I'll clarify here. The vibrational frequency that each person carries at any given time can really be determined by noting how they feel. Positive feelings such as happiness, joy, accomplishment, love, and gratitude are associated, of course, with higher vibration, while negative feelings, anger, stress, jealousy, hatred, and lust, are associated with a low vibration. As you can imagine, there are many factors that affect a person's vibration. Below, I have listed more powerful practices that can significantly influence it. So first and foremost, he's remarking on his level of chastity. Now, I have said numerous times before, but I'll say again that SR is an effect of mitigating lust, feeling confident, feeling peaceful. So it's not that you do SR and then you experience those higher emotions. It's that you experience those higher emotions and therefore that you don't want to go back to practices that bring you ultimately down. If you recall the last time you relapsed, they are the lowest emotions that anybody can ever feel. Sometimes you don't even want to go outside after you relapse. You don't want to look another person in the eye after you relapse. And there's a reason for that. It's because the energy and the emotion that sits behind your eyes is so low, is so dull, is so heavy that it dilutes and poisons every single other experience. It poisons your consciousness in that way. And people can sense this. People can sense when you're in a very, very low state and you become repulsive. Remember, shame specifically, which is the lowest human emotion that you can feel, is repulsiveness at oneself. So you don't even want to be in your own company in that way, let alone be in other people's company. Think about what that message, what that emotion, what that energetic signature signals to the world. I mean, it is the literal manifestation of hell. It's mental hell. That's the way I like to describe it. Now, other than, because again, we talk about this extensively, we're going to talk about other things. One thing that I noticed palpably, and I agree with this individual, is the degree to which your diet is void of manufactured, processed, and ultimately poison. I feel I've made a conscious effort, especially over the last 9 to 12 months, I would say, in mitigating my Achilles heel is chocolate, really, or a warm brownie with ice cream, or a warm cookie with ice cream. That really is my Achilles heel. And to be fair, my self discipline is good enough to the degree where I can give myself a cheap meal, or a cheat dessert once a week or on the weekends, and I feel okay with it. But I hold myself to a standard in which I don't even believe to cheat is necessary. So I've been integrating a lot of fruits, dragon fruit, kiwis, mangoes, bananas, apples, all these other things. And what's really interesting is the degree to which those foods vibrate is significantly higher comparatively to alternate food sources. I mean, whole foods in general, like foods that are unprocessed and raw and real, vibrate very, very high naturally. But one of the ones that I know, and I'm going to explain this a little bit later as we move on, vibrates very, very high, is fruits. So including things like that in your diet have a significant influence on your emotional state, and consequently the degree to which you experience luck, synchronicity, and serendipity in your life. There's also references here to hydration, of course, the amount of high quality nutritional minerals and vitamins and supplements that the individual ingests. I think there could be merit in that idea, certainly. I'm always more of a raw, real food person as opposed to supplementation. I don't believe you can supplement your way out of a bad diet. So start with the aforementioned things. These two are interesting. My most dominant thoughts and a happy heart. And so in this way, let's tackle the dominant thoughts idea. Having an introspective practice every single day is something where you can begin to have more control and jurisdiction over those recurring thoughts. Those thoughts occur for a reason. And a lot of people, they don't listen to them, and they don't do critical thinking to the degree where they can find out why they're having those reoccurring thoughts. They're there for a reason. They're not irrational. They're not baseless. And if you can ask yourself the right questions, and you can start to untangle that web inside you in regards to why you're having these particular thoughts, which are usually a consequence of the feelings that you're having, you can begin to untie that knot, and subsequently you can start to fuel your thoughts with something more holistic. For example, I think another really important exercise that somebody should start to do is look at subconscious reprogramming, by which maybe you're listening to subliminals. Or in fact, in my sexual energy mastery course, there is a really powerful subliminal subconscious reprogramming device that is synced to binaural beats as well. I believe it's hemisync, so it's both your right hemisphere and left hemisphere synchronizing, and it really resets some of those thoughts that perhaps you have around lustful thinking and promiscuity. Happy heart. I was going to go into the same area as dominant thoughts, by which the feelings usually color the thoughts that you have, and sometimes vice versa. And in that way, I know this might sound like a really simple idea, but it's doing things that make you feel good every single day, such as exercise, such as reading, such as even the weather's really good here in the UK at the moment. Shock. Just even getting sun on your skin has a tremendous impact on how happy your heart is. Level of muscular tension in the body, exercise, massage. You need to physically mobilize and have motility in the body for the energy currents to kind of move through without stagnation or without any kind of traffic. The people that you surround yourself with, that one is highly significant. the sort of music that you consistently listen to. It is a form of programming after all, and I find myself more often than not listening to music that is ambient and without lyrics, and is sounds of nature and piano and harps and handpan music, things that genuinely lift up my spirit and subsequently my energy. Cleanliness of the environment, so keeping a nice clean environment, spending time in nature. We've talked about regular meditation and deep breathing exercises. Probably don't want me to speak about deep breathing too extensively, but there's a reason, guys. There's a reason why I stress it so much, is because it has such a significant impact on your energy levels and subsequently your luck. I mean, if oxygen is the most precious resource to human beings, without which 3 minutes and you're brain dead without oxygen, imagine what you can do with more of that precious resource. Could it have an influence in every single facet of your life? Yes, it can. We're literally talking about, if we're talking about energy here, prana, we are literally talking about breath work increases your levels of energy and everything else increases. It's almost one of those things where it's so simple, it's so obvious, it's overlooked. That really is what it is for me. It's so simple, it's so obvious, it's overlooked. It's like, why do you feel terrible every single day? Oh, I haven't had a glass of water since this morning. So simple, so obvious that you overlook it. Why are my energy levels low? Because you've been breathing shallow and from your chest for the last 10 years of your life. What happens if you start breathing from the diaphragm? More oxygen in, more prana in, more energy in. Oh, everything else works better. Anyway, breathwork videos in Patreon below. Throughout my Kuma years, my sexual indiscretion led me towards dark relationships. I was so lost in the matrix that I was pretty much failing on all the above listed factors, which meant my vibration was seriously low. However, it wasn't until I got an ill-fated relationship with a Jezebel Delilah that my vibration was completely tanked. Like attracts like in this way. Ignorantly, getting sexually intimate with a woman that is toxic pushed me over the edge. I went from a pretty normal guy to being depressed with constant feelings of despair. I went from a pretty well-paid engineering job to a guy who couldn't even keep a job. I started up several businesses to get my money up, but in that low state of vibration, everything I touched seemed to stagnate and crumble. I went from a guy who loved working out to a guy who couldn't even get out of bed, let alone go to the gym. Look, I'm not gonna pass this out too much. I'm sure you can get the picture here. My advice to individuals in this particular state is to do something that has a quantifiable influence on your energetic level. And it could be something as simple as per Frederick Dodson's work in Levels of Energy, in reading scripture. What was really interesting in the Levels of Energy book is that he measured different vibrational states of books and texts and scripture oscillates at the highest, meaning if you read a chapter of the Holy Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or the Quran or the Tao Te Ching, I don't care what it is, it has a tangible influence on your energetic field, on your emotional state. If you read the words of Christ, it has an influence on your emotional state. If you read the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, it has a quantifiable influence on your energetic state. This isn't woo-woo, it's not silly, this is quantifiable, it is measurable as per David Hawkinson's energy scale. It changes your consciousness when you read something as holy and uplifting as the literature, as the text in those in scripture. And then you will notice as a consequence of that, it becomes easy to mitigate lust. But something practical, if it's not meditation, breathwork videos, again, below, guys, all guided. I just did a 20-minute one on holotropic breathwork, which, that one will change you. That one will change you for a while. I'm still feeling the effects of that one when I recorded it. It's a complete nervous system reset invigoration. 20 minutes of deep rhythmic breathing. It's heavy. It's heavy. Try it out. Try it out. And it's only $5 as well, I should say. Anyway, gentlemen, that's enough of my sales pitch today. These are not theories and facts. Remember to do things that tangibly influence your energetic level. Speak soon.